That's really what's in the Hollywood movies. It's what's in our textbooks. The same thing is true of the Civil War. That how we remember the Civil War, how we tell that story. And I think those two processes are struggles over memory. How we remember the war and how we remember Reconstruction are very closely. If you think that slavery was an abominable, violent, horrific institution, and that the people who seceded and attempted to restore white supremacy during Reconstruction were proponents of slavery, you might have a different perspective on Reconstruction than if you think slavery was an essentially benign or patriarchal institution, and that the people who seceded and then tried to restore white political authority during Reconstruction were men of principle motivated by constitutional concerns about the proper balance between state and federal government. So we'll talk about that. One or two more. Renee, did you ever hit it?
I was thinking about the interview shows with the guy with the hoodie coming in. He said it was like the whites, that were not educated, illiterate themselves. Do you feel like they were into this thing that if I don't get rid of some of the freed slaves, they were like on equal grounds together. They didn't want to be equal, they're poor, they don't have any money. So now they feel like I want to work side by side with these freed slaves, because if I do, then I'm just the same as they are.
Right. No, there's what W. B. Du Bois called the wages of whiteness. It's a wonderful, wonderful pun, right? Because wages are things we collect. They are also punishments that we pay. The wages of sin is death, right? The wages of whiteness. The ways in which not only did white people historically profit from the fact that they were protected from competition with certain groups of people, but they also drew what Du Bois called the psychological wage. And that psychological wage is one that's very much under threat. And again, we're going to talk about this in our next time when we get to the populist period, because that's really one thing that's really fascinating about the populists, is trying to figure out, can you build some kind of common economic agenda among poor whites and poor blacks, many of whom were both tenants who were in class conflict with landowners.
All right, just one more quick thing to say. The psychological thing, like what you just said, that's why we're great.
Sure is.
That's why we have terrorism with the Middle East. It's like this psychological brain. I mean, that's terribly hard to break.
Lots of this stuff. Lots. You know, history is like a big ocean liner. And those of us who want to change its direction got canoe paddles. We're trying to turn stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of inertia built into a lot of historical institutions. Doesn't mean, however, that history doesn't change. It can also change in ways that will stun us. As we look at the second inaugural.
I'm going to stop there.
All right. Results.
We want to eat at 11:30 because you definitely want to miss the student crowd coming in at 12 o'clock. Okay, so when you go downstairs, it's basically an all-you-eat. They've changed it up this year. There's two lines, a hot lunch and a cold lunch. You'll see it, one to the left, one to the right. And when you go down, just you'll probably Tammy will be there and show your.